35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. The fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this black boy said that I was scared.
Hi, Martha. We just got word that Anthony's legal team has filed that notice of appeal, but just seconds ago, we wrapped up an interview with the district attorney and the lead prosecutor on the case. I could tell you they are extremely confident with the verdict here.
Let's talk about the Karmelo update because he is now, his family and his attorneys have now filed for an appeal. Let's get into that real quick. Roll the clip.
A few moments ago, Texas teen Karmelo Anthony plans to appeal his murder conviction in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet last year when they were both 17 years old. The jury sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Metcalf's father, Jeff, giving an emotional victim impact statement during the sentencing hearing. Quote, "The public response sickens me, especially when a gag order doesn't allow me to defend my son. This was never about race or politics, but what you did was to choose to make it about both. We all bleed the same color. You are free to make choices all your life, but you are not free to not face consequences." Correspondent Brooke Taylor reporting live from McKinney, Texas with the latest. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. We just got word that Anthony's legal team has filed that notice of appeal, but just seconds ago, we wrapped up an interview with the district attorney and the lead prosecutor on the case. I could tell you they are extremely confident with the verdict here. There was no cameras in the courtroom, so it's our first time really hearing from them. Take a listen to what they told me their reaction was.
Just relief. Relief that 12 members of our community, the jurors, saw it the same way we did, that this was murder, plain and simple, and then they saw punishment like we saw it, that he needed a lengthy prison sentence.
I was relieved. I thought it would be murder, but until you hear it, of course, a jury can do whatever they want as long as they're following the law. So I was relieved for the family, mostly.
And the jury sentenced Karmelo Anthony to 35 years behind bars for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet. Both the DA and lead prosecutor told me they were satisfied with the sentence, even though Anthony faced up to 99 years behind bars. They also said that they were prepared for Anthony to take the stand, and they hoped that he would. Now, I asked what they believed the strongest piece of evidence here was. They both pointed to the surveillance footage, despite being grainy and shot across the field. They said it reinforced their argument that Anthony wasn't surrounded and this was a one-on-one confrontation despite the defense's self-defense claim. Now, the lead prosecutor told me the national spotlight, it definitely added pressure, but he said they had to tune out that noise, and some of that noise played out in the courtroom. Martha, he told me that race was certainly not a factor, and have people actually pay attention closely to this case and hear what the witnesses had to say, they would know that.
Let me give my commentary on this real quick. I don't think he will be successful in an appeal. You can't just appeal things. You can by law. You can appeal things if you don't feel like it was fairly presented in your first hearing. But you can't just appeal things because you don't like it and you think you're going to somehow get a different outcome when the facts and circumstances are exactly the same. But I want to look at what the media is talking about because I think this is very important for you to understand the full perspective. And I also love to show you guys how people are viewing this depending on what side you're on. The leftists are talking about it like this. Listen to how they frame this. Don't look down. This is what Austin Metcalf's dad said to Karmelo Anthony when he gave the victim impact statement. He says, "Don't look down." The father demanded that Anthony look him in the eye in the courtroom showdown as racial tensions rise over the verdict. Why are they interjecting racial tension that did not exist in the courtroom? This is not about race. Why don't they articulate in the title what the father actually said? And the father said it wasn't about race and it never should have been about race, and people should quit bringing it up. Anthony convicted of murder, sentenced to 35 years. So some of the other reporting from the left is standard reporting, but this number one story from Atlanta Black Star decides to make it about race. Surprise, surprise. You go to the other side, same kind of article. Or same kind of articulation of what was presented by the father in court. It says, you can't look me in the eye, but you can stab my effing son. it's funny that the right decides to use this quote and the left decides to use the other quote. And I think it's a telltale sign. And then you go on to Cardi B with her retarded self. I don't like to call people retarded. So no offense to people who, get offended by that word. But regardless, let me change the way I say that. I like to be respectful. Even some people don't believe that. But Cardi B is silly. And to be honest, she should be ashamed of herself that she don't have all the facts and information, but she's disseminating this out to the black community as is gospel truth. Cardi B criticized Karmelo Anthony's murder verdict after Texas imposed 35 years. She said it's disgusting. She said it's not justified. They just try to make an example out of him. Making an example out of him would give him life in prison. He did kill another person. So as you can see, and I want you guys to always be informed, go and check this out. Look at all sides. Go look at the left. Look at the right. All you got to do is go to ground.news. All of y'all that follow me know I love and support ground.news. So go to ground.news/Tatum, and you can get 40% off the unlimited plan. That's the plan that I use. Don't be cheap. Get in there. You got 40% off. Get full access so you don't have to have modules not showing. Have it all so you can be informed like I am. This is why your boy is informed, because I know what they're saying on both sides. I think we have some clips from the sentencing because I want you guys to kind of hear how the news reported on it. Roll the clip.
Fox News alert, the jury just sentenced Karmelo Anthony. We're going to be back with Brooke Taylor, who's live outside the courthouse. What do we have?
Hi, Jesse. Some pretty breaking news to give you right now. The jury has sentenced Karmelo Anthony to 35 years behind bars after finding him guilty of murder.
So you guys kind of see how they reported on it when it first happened. I think it was fair, like I said. But let's look at the fallout from the family. This is the part that gets crazy to me. This is portions of the family leaving the courtroom, and I don't blame the family to a certain degree, right? If this was my kid or something and he did something poorly, I would want to support him all the way to the finish line, right? I mean, meaning that I want to support that he get the proper outcome. If we didn't gave all that we can to make sure the justice system is completely fair, then I would go all the way to the Supreme Court and everything that I can. And then if we've done all we can do, you got to do life in prison. You got to do life in prison. I'm just saying that a father and a family will fight for their kid even if they kid wrong. Now, I'm not going to lie on my kid or lie for my kid or try to do a GoFundMe when I know my kid was wrong, but I'm going to go through the process. To be quite honest, I probably would. I'm just saying that I probably would. Most people, maybe they say they wouldn't. I don't know of a person that have your kid and you know your kid made a mistake. You'll try to do your best to get them in a position to be reconciled back to the family. I'm just saying. So I don't blame them on that. But I do blame them on trying to push that this was about race. You need to be honest with yourself about what your kid did. Roll the clip.
We love justice for Karmelo. Justice for Karmelo. We got this. We got this. We overcame this. Justice for Karmelo.
Back off.
So here goes. Pause it. Listen to what this woman said, and this is obviously, I don't think that's his mama. His mama don't look like that. But this must be members of the family or people who had grandma. This is grandma. Then grandma look young. This is probably y'all messed up anyway. Grandma and mama was 2 years apart. So, all right, roll the clip. Racist, bias, prejudice. So those black kids that testified against him are racist and biased and prejudice. They the ones got convicted. The jury didn't convict him. They didn't convict him on their own. They didn't just come up and look at a video. There was testimony from other black people that convicted him or that got him convicted. You cannot go to a track meet with a knife. You cannot refuse to leave a tent when somebody asks you to, and then you have witnesses who are black. This is the thing that bothers me about this. And black folks are the most racist people in America. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to show you why here in a minute. But I just want to say, the only people making this about race are black people. The jury was not all white. And then also the witnesses, the eyewitness testimony that convicted Karmelo Anthony was testimony from black people who saw what happened. Wrong is wrong, man. I don't care if he's black, green, or orange, man. You don't kill anybody and stab somebody in the heart in a conflict in a game when it's a one-on-one situation. And, you know, there's a reason he didn't take the stand. I'm going to talk to Sean Kent, which is the lawyer of Rick Chow, who he got a lot of backlash as a black man because he was defending a person who killed a young black man. And I'll say this too. Nobody's complaining. They saying this about race, but Karmelo family hired a white attorney. Why y'all not mad at that? He hired a white attorney whom they thought was the best attorney to defend him when in the defense of the situation. But let me get to the sentencing real quick because that was alluded to. 35 years in prison. To be honest, I think it was very fair. I think the jurors decided that they were going to be a little less punitive on the back end, given the fact that he was a young man, given the fact he was 17, given the fact that it wasn't as egregious as if he premeditated and showed up at the thing just to stab people. And I think they did the right thing. I think his father would have liked more, but I think that they did not go low enough for me to feel like they gave him too much sympathy, and they went high enough to justify his behavior even as a 17-year-old.